Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Channeling our energy to NRG, a team that's been looking fantastic in the North American online circuit. Now they have to face against one of the scariest opponents in all of Counter-Strike. Currently it's Astralis, and we're actually going to hear from some of the players themselves. Trace has managed to grab them ahead of what's going to be quite the debut offline for this roster. Let's check in with Trace and see what's going on over on the player floor.
Yes, indeed, that is absolutely right. I'm down here at the side of NRG now. They start off playing Astralis, a red-hot Astralis, coming fresh off of DreamHack Masters Marseille. But today, that could all change. You know what? I think we should probably take a word here with Daps and really dive into this North American squad that's been all the rage lately. Daps, talk to me a little bit about the preparation and perhaps some of your, opposing teams in the North American region.
I mean, the practice in NA is not great. You know, you got like Ghost and Splice and stuff, and they're okay. No, I'm kidding. I love Davey, but
that's not a joke. That's real life.
I mean, we're just gonna practice like we prepped just like we did online.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna see how our success translates from online to LAN, and if we get 16-0'd here, then we obviously got to change something.
Something would probably have to change. That, you know, that's not wrong. Now, Astralis, that's quite the tall order to get right off the bat. Is there anything in particular you guys did in terms of preparation for this? Was there a boot camp? Talk to me a little bit about the team's vibe.
There wasn't a boot camp. We had Pro League matches and ECS matches we had to complete before we came here. So we didn't have time for a boot camp. But this LAN's sort of just a gauge how our preparation online works on LAN. And if it doesn't work, then we're going to use a little break between this LAN and EPL Dallas to switch things up.
Okay. Well, final word would have to be you got to watch out for a lot of these guys, specifically this Cirque guy, maybe even this Ethan one right here. How you doing, man? You doing all right?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, there you go. There you have it. Let's go ahead and kick it back to the Banditos at the desk. Take it away, Alex.
Thank you very much, brother. Yes, indeed. Interesting to hear from Daps that they're just using this as an opportunity to gauge how well their online success is going to translate. And I do have some new faces at the desk and indeed the casting desk, not yet to be revealed, but Sniper hanging out with us now and Yanko as always. First question has to be NRG performing like this online. My question is, what's your read? Do you think they're going to be able to do it offline?
Look, I don't think this is going to be a good way to gauge your LAN ability here. You're up against Astralis, the powerhouse, like one of the best teams in the world, if not the best team in the world at the moment, and you're coming in to test how good you are on LAN. So it's a tough ask for NRG. If they had any other opponent, you could say, sure, you know, I'll be able to see how good we are after this. But I think unless they do really well against Astralis, I don't know if this is the right tournament to be saying like, oh, we're versing Astralis, this will dictate how we play in future.
What's your read?
I mean, even when they were not hot stuff at Pro League Finals last season, they had some upsets. I believe they took down North in that particular one, so well, maybe not that big of an upset considering how North has been doing, but I think for them, the reason why Dab says we need to gauge where we are is because they have played 77 maps online and they played 0 maps on LAN. Yeah. And they have, you know, out of the 77, they won 58. So a very high win percentage for a team like NRG, even for the North American region. They're also on a 10-map win streak, you know, at the moment. Granted, 6 of those were against Luminosity in 3 different, you know, 2 leagues and a qualifier for Star Ladder, right? But it does a lot for your confidence. Also, the fact that they managed to qualify for this tournament and some of the other ones, despite not having LAN experience, they can feel confident. Yeah, and when we take a look at NRG's roster, the chances are if you're a European viewer or perhaps a viewer that hasn't been checking a lot of the online stuff lately, you don't know too much about NRG. I mean, when we look for hard hitter Sniper, where does our eyes land?
Well, there's a few of them in the NRG lineup. Obviously, that's how they're getting through a lot of their NA type games with you know, Breezy and Cirque. They're pretty much the hard hitters, and then of course Ethan as well, as Trey pointed out. So they definitely do have that firepower, and to have 3 guys on your team who are pretty sharp as well, I guess that's a lot to have, whereas, you know, maybe some of the Australian teams only have 1 or 2. So I think, yeah, definitely they have that firepower. Cirque is just unbelievable. So it would be good. This will be really awesome for everyone to see, like, what can this Bulgarian superstar bring? Yeah, and I mean, Yanko, you've kind of mentioned him. He's been the name you've been dropping often when we do start talking about NRG and their successes. Where's he come from? Do you know any more about him? The Bulgarian bulldozer, right? I think he never really... I mean, obviously he started off with Bulgarian teams, but it wasn't even really going hard with them, you know, regionally, maybe a couple of tournaments, something like that. Without having some massive international or regional success, he just took the leap and went to North America, right, to play for NRG, really, and that's where he
really started standing out individually. He's had some, I mean, some of the highlights that you see, whatever, they're online, but it's some nutty shots, you know, flicks and everything, just winning rounds by himself, basically against opposition that's not really something that you can neglect. Yes, it's, you know, you can't really compare. Yeah, you can't compare complexity to an Astralis, but they are not, you know, a tier 4 team. They're still like professional players. Absolutely. They're still like playing at the top level in their respective regions. So I am very interested to see how he is going to perform individually and, of course, the team as a whole.
I think a lot of us, both here at the desk, you guys at home, and a lot of the other teams in North America are all going to be watching this game and the following just to see what NRG show up. I think that's going to be a big talking point for them. Let's take a look at the maps, though. We're going to just glance through this veto. Of course, best of ones, we tend to end up in the middle ground, and it will be Astralis who choose to remove the new addition Dust 2. We end up on Overpass. Astralis and Overpass, quite the iconic combination.
Well, it's one of those things. I was actually a little bit concerned to see maybe if we would see Overpass because NRG have such a good record on it as well. So, I mean, it's obviously Astralis just saying, like, whatever. It's a comfortable map for us. We'll see how we go against NRG. You know, I'm pretty excited to see this one because it's going to be maybe one of the best chances for NRG.
I did see a nod from Yanko. As soon as he saw Overpass, you seem to be thinking the same.
Yeah, that's the map where they have the highest win rate. They played it a lot of times, I think 13 times. Again, everything is online. But what's interesting about NRG is that they played all 7 maps, and it's not a scenario in which they played like Nuke once. Yeah. You know, the Nuke played 6 times, Cobblestone 4. Those are their lowest played maps, really. But I think this is going to be an interesting one. Again, they're still the underdog. Yes, they played a lot online, but they can do a lot of preparation for Astralis. I believe Dabs, to me, he's similar to FNS, right? I consider him similar in style, how they lead. They want to get those fundamentals, you know, set. They want to have some set pieces to fall back on. They're maybe a bit more rigid than some of the other in-game leaders. And really, I mean, Astralis is an absolute favorite here. And that's going to be interesting to see, right? Can they be... It's not just the fact that they won Marseille. They were so dominant. They had 1 loss against Liquid, 16-14. Everything else was mostly single digits for their opponents.
We're talking like Na'Vi Fnatic as well. So.
Yeah.
It's sexy Counter-Strike, right?
To start off in the quarters.
Were you equally smitten watching Astralis play Sniper? A lot of, like, especially the people that have previously been, you know, professional Counter-Strike players like yourself, watching what they were doing in Marseille seemed to get a lot of people very, very excited.
Definitely. Like you said, sexy Counter-Strike. We always talk about it, and it's just, you know, nailing those fundamentals and just playing properly. None of this, like, the Fnatic era. Like, I think that was just, like, everyone just had their hands in their head.
Sure.
Let's just go out and raw firepower.
Yeah, and this is probably the most interesting matchup we have in the first round because, you know, NRG is like the best team that's playing out of all the underdogs against the favorite. And, you know, the discussions we've had previously about underdogs versus favorites, right? You, as a favorite, you want to try and bully them, disrupt their style, make them uncomfortable from the start. And for Astralis, you know, a couple of times last year we were talking about, well, as an underdog, you would actually, on paper, like you're thinking, I would like to play this team because they didn't try to bully you. They're playing like their own game. They're very regimented, you know, reserved a little bit and all of that. 2 things. First, that's a misconception because they're so good at that fundamental style that you still can't do anything against them. And even this quote-unquote new Astralis, they're trying to be a bit more loose, a bit more unpredictable, give a little bit more freedom to their individuals. So now it's actually hell to play against them because they're so good. They're not going to overextend. They're not going to give you any easy fights. They're just play very, very solid CS.
It's like that that stage that Na'Vi went through. After they nailed that really slow style, then they started to get that looser style, and that just made them so deadly for so long. And I think that's exactly what Astralis is doing now. Like, you got Dupree just going like a loose cannon, like you were saying, just gets it. It seems like someone just says to him sometimes, just do what you want.
Even his hairstyle, okay?
Do what you want, man.
He's Super Saiyan now, you know, it's gone blonde.
Yeah, actually, we get to take a little look at some of their supportive statistics for how well they have played, given the fact that they did lose a member of the roster. It wasn't by no choice of their own. Kirby making the choice to depart for North. You can see just how well that has worked out for them. Magisk has slotted into this roster incredibly comfortably, and now we get to see them do what they do best. In fact, it does sound like our analysts are still totally in love with the Astralis we saw in Marseille. Question is, can they do it again? Is the consistency, Yanko? I'm sure that's on your, like, what you're looking to learn from Sydney. Sydney, are Astralis at the top of your list?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the #1 rated team in the world now that the E-League major is, past that. It's the previous 3 months that you look at mostly. And I think for Astralis, you expect it from them because their style, consequentially provides consistency, right? Because it's based off of good fundamentals. You're doing the same thing all over and over again. Players are very disciplined. You rely on team play rather than individual play. So all of that combined, really, you see no reason. Yes, you expect a dip in performance because teams will now study their demos and maybe see some little patterns. And Astralis, in turn, didn't have as much time. It's not enough time to change all of that stuff. But I still expect them, despite all of that, to be the main contender for the title.
And I'm afraid to just derail the conversation a little bit, we have to have a B stream update because my eyes have been drawn to it.
Alex,
it happened. It did. It did.
No,
Tai
it
Lu
went into overtime.
have managed to win versus SK Gaming in overtime. It was one overtime. We see a 19-16 scoreline. The Chinese are in the upper bracket. They've seen SK, of all the teams, Sniper.
Couldn't be an Aussie one, could it?
It couldn't.
Listen to this, Alex. So, Tai Lu won 19-16. The scoreboard looks like this for SK. Everyone's positive in kill-death ratio.
Yep.
Bolts is like flat, 17-17. You look towards Tai Lu. 3 players are negative. 2 out of the 3 double digits negative. And only Bentet and somebody are positive and in single digits. So the discrepancy between, if you just look at the stats and you don't know the score, you would say SK won, it was a close game because 2 of the Tai Lu players stick out. Just tells you that in the rounds they won, SK was more dominant, but in the second half when they were on the T side, they just couldn't get enough rounds. They couldn't get it done. And Bentet had a great game.
So now Greyhound have just been railroaded by Tai Lu's performance here.
They get to verse SK.
I mean, that's cool. That's an opportunity.
What an experience.
You look at Mr. Silver Linings over
That's all I can do over
Silver Linings.
That's all
the
we can
problem
do.
is, like, if it were best of 1, then you could be like,
oh, it's a best of 3 as well.
It's a best of 3 as well, right? So that's where it gets very difficult for them, even if SK is, mortal at the moment and maybe not feeling 100% because of jet lag or whatnot. But, it's a very interesting development. Tai Lu obviously still not through to the playoffs. No. They still have to go through the best of 3 brackets. And this may very well be a rematch further on in the bracket between SK and Tai Lu, and that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, and we are very short from getting into our own game now. NRG versus Astralis. That was going down on the B stream. A quick reminder that the next game there is going to be Mouse Sports versus Boot. If you're interested, the guys over there will be broadcasting that one. You can just add a B to the URL to check it. I don't know why I felt like letting you know what the letter B looks like. It was a capital B. You don't even have to use a capital 1. Anyway, so NRG Astralis, I need to know if anyone is going to go full balls to the wall with an NRG prediction here.
No, I just don't think you can. I mean, look, the thing is with Astralis, is like we were saying, though, they are regimented and they have that discipline in their play, which makes them very easy to research, I think. But coming into this tournament, maybe they've got their comfort pick on Overpass against NRG. NRG surely would have done their homework, and it is a good map for NRG as well. So there is a chance, right? And I was going to put them on like a 16-4 scoreline just because it's their first LAN. But now I'm thinking maybe a 16-8, 16-12, who knows?
On a map like Overpass, Astralis just has so much variety. It's
deep.
Doing the same stuff over and over again. Magic's in device towards A, always switch it up, aggression, passive, clearing out B, water with pop flashes, doing everything as a team. It's just, I don't see how NRG can really break that, with no LAN experience with this squad.
Well, we're going to be jumping into this one, NRG versus Astralis. Our analysts are actually quite hopeful. Overpass a playground for NRG, but you could not ask for a scarier first opponent on their offline debut. It's my pleasure to introduce not only the game, but your casters, Elfish Guy and Brainstorm, are going to be guiding you through this map.
Thank you very much, Alex. Yes, it's a long way to come for both of these two teams, but for NRG, the hopeful analysts, I suppose, are not necessarily backing them, but there's a chance for them, Tim.
I think there's definitely a chance. These guys have been incredible online, as the desk said, and of course they haven't had a chance to play on LAN yet, but they've got nothing to lose here, really. Of course, Astralis are coming into this one very, very hot, looking fabulous at the moment, so I mean, it's not easy for NRG, like we said, but I think there's an outside chance for them.
It's not just not easy, but it's maybe the most difficult sort of pathway for them to actually get through this bracket, to be honest. And obviously, everyone coming into this one are going to be expecting maybe to see NRG down in that lower bracket, but then that's where things start to get a little bit more interesting for NRG. There is a potential for them to come through that lower bracket, or, I don't know, barring some kind of an upset here, even through the upper bracket. We'll have to find out how this match does go, but NRG, it's really going to come down to them getting off to a good start here, I feel, Tim.
Absolutely, over on Overpass. And I mean, this is a best of 1. So of course, like we just saw with Tyloo getting a win over SK, anything can happen in a best of one. Ideally, of course, in a best of 3, the better team should win, right? But in a best of 1, who knows?
Yeah, look, if you sort of asked me before this match started, or before the day started even, what matches we're looking at to maybe see an upset from, I probably would have said Tyloo SK, might have even said Cloud9 Greyhound, which evidently hasn't essentially done anything there. But this was the other one that I was looking at, maybe NRG and Astralis, and potentially G2 versus MVP as well. Those are the ones that might have an upset, and we're into another one of those. So very, very excited to see how this match does start off. And, well, Astralis the favourites, but NRG nipping at their heels, perhaps. Good online results, and starting off on the T side, that's good news for them.
They've got one set of utility on Daps as well, and Breezy's going straight in through Fountain. He's found himself the first pick on device as well. Good start to the pistol round for NRG, and from that, they're going to go straight onto A.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very confident. NRG just completely busting out into bathrooms. Now, slowing down a little bit and waiting for that rotation from Astralis. Glaive goes down early on as well, and it's all onto Magisk on the site, trying to hold off the remaining onslaught here from NRG. He's not going to be able to get too much done, but he might have just bought enough time here for the rotation to come across from Zipex.
Zipex is on this flank. There's a good one tap from Debris. He's been sharp so far this round. So into a 2v2. The bomb not yet planted. It will now be going down in front of Bank, trying to keep themselves safe from Zipex, but they know Debris still here.
Well, they know the positioning of both of these two players on the CT side. NRG, well, Fugly, he goes fast. Daps doesn't quite follow up, but there he does get the trade. So, back down into a 1 versus 1 now. Zipex slowly creeping onto the bomb site, though he is making a quite large amount of noise onto the defuse kit. Daps has a lot of time to play with. Zipex goes down, and Daps closing out the first round there for NRG. That's got to be a nice little bit of nerve settler for the T side.
That's a fabulous start on their T side, as you say, to grab that pistol, get themselves sorted. They find the first pick in bathrooms, and there from pretty much just rolling trades onto that A bomb site. Dupree made it a bit spicy coming out of Bank, getting 3 headshots, all of them within 1 or 2 bullets, but it wasn't quite enough. NRG do come away with the win, and from that, they're going to go onto the rifles, onto the SMGs, and try and beat out this Astralis Force Buy.
Yeah, indeed, the Force Buy out here from Astralis. Just the scout there for device, but they're going to be stacking up on long by the looks of things here. NRG, they're not interested in that side of the map at all, Tim. They've gone to the B bomb site. Cirque leading the charge there with the MAC-10, and slowing down a little bit here, allowing the players to come out from Monster first, but this does not look too great for Astralis. Relying on Zipex and Dupree to get some very, very nice shots, and already Zipex has been taken down. Ethan as well going to find himself a frag there. So a fairly straightforward entry into that B bomb site for NRG. Not too much to do here for Astralis in a 3 versus 5 on the retake.
They've got to be a little bit careful of this scout on device, but it's just the pistols for the other 2 players, and NRG playing this one with some discipline, letting the CTs come on in. Device does find the 1 frag, but the cleanup's on. It's all on device. He's done so much damage. 3 and 1 HP for Daps and Ethan respectively, but he's being pushed already, and there's not much he can do.
Yeah, it's going to be Cirque on the charge forward, looking for the remaining player, but it's going to go the way of device. Just a MAC-10 for him if he wanted it, but he's going to stick around with the scout. Realistically, it didn't actually end up looking like too bad of a round there for Astralis, but for the fact that Daps and Ethan surviving on 3 and 1 HP apiece, it could have been a very, very damaging economic round for NRG, but in the end, they get away with all 3 of those AKs that they did invest, so really not too bad of a round actually for NRG.
No, not bad at all. That's pretty much what you want out of that one, really. You buy SMGs to make some money, and if you lose them, then it's really not that much of a big deal. That's what you buy them for. They're throwaway guns. The big thing is that you hold onto the AK-47s, which they've done. So Astralis, they get some decent damage out of device with the Scout and the Deagle. He'll be able to throw that Deagle over to Magisk as well, get a little bit more damage out for his team, but they're going to have to go for the full eco here so that they can buy in the 4th round. Device really the only one with any sort of big damage potential unless Magisk comes up huge.
Bit of a stack here out on the B bomb site for Astralis, and it's looking good, NRG, heading in that direction, but we do see the first couple of kills go the way of the T side, and that's really going to stabilize things. Nice work from Breezy, just opening up that bomb site for his team, and it just gets a little bit of work done before going down, but all in all, that was the expected result. Now we're getting into the gun round, though.
I love that round from NRG, though. They go so fast. They're not giving Astralis any respect. Admittedly, that was against USPs, so maybe not much respect to be given, but they do well. Breezy starting off with 7 frags on the board, so very confident start from him, and that's going to be good for NRG. Now, though, heading into this buy round, Device is on the AWP, and he has a very big impact fragger for Astralis.
So is Cirque as well, and I was going to say Breezy, one of the players that our analyst desk did sort of highlight there for NRG to potentially step up here, and so far he's started off with a bit of a blinder, but that is off the back of the pistol, so we need to see whether or not that is going to continue on here into the gun rounds.
Double push coming up from short here. Looks like NRG are ready for it. Breezy's watching it, but gets tagged down heavy.
He did a lot of damage to Magisk, so that's all good. Fair enough sort of a trade for both teams there. But NRG going to be funneling themselves back towards the B bomb site. And Astralis maybe cottoning onto this. A little bit of noise being made there by NRG. You can see the rotation has come back from long, and Astralis already on their way to the B bomb site, but perhaps not quick enough.
The thing is, though, that NRG haven't committed here yet. The bomb is still back in T-Connector, so NRG, with that first pick, now have the time to slow this round down. They've baited out a smoke from the CTs, so they're wearing down the utility, which there wasn't much of to start with, and they can now go wherever they choose. So it looks like it will eventually be a B hit here. Astralis have just pushed into short. They know that the Ts aren't there yet. That might actually bring a Ro8 back out onto the A bomb site.
Does look like it has. Daps goes down to Zipex, and there's no trade. Oh, yes, there is. Ethan just gets there in time. Zipex looks like he was almost going to be able to get to safety, but of course there was more Ts encircling in onto him. Magisk does come away with a sneaky one, but now he's dropped the bomb carrier, and this is looking all a little bit worse for NRG. Ethan does trade back. Still time on the board here for NRG as well to play with, and that is a great line for Cirque to be holding. Stabilizes things a little bit there for NRG, and they will be able to get the bomb down now. Device holding close. Do they know he's here?
They've got some utility to shut him out, though, if they need to. The Molotov and the Flash still available. He spots out one, but can't quite hit that shot. And now they have the info. Device on just 5 HP. Surely has to save at this point. If he does go for it, the Molotov's going to pretty much end it.
It's going to be very tough here for Device, and looks like he's just trying to go for some cheeky frags to see if he might have a lucky shot to get back into this round. But once that time has ticked away a little bit longer, he's probably going to just back off here and save this AWP, because it's just too much time gone. Not anything that he can get done there. A little unfortunate for Astralis. It was looking good for a moment, but NRG, they came up with the crucial frags at the right time and swung around back in their favor. Now up to 4-0. Astralis going to be back onto potentially pistol armor or even just an eco. Things are looking pretty good right now for NRG.
NRG had some really good timing on that B push as well, because when Astralis swing 2 players into short, they call that it's clear. They go, okay, we've cleared this. They're most likely not coming into B right now. We need to get rid of this 3-stack, go 2 and 2, get 1 up on the A bomb site, and that is when NRG choose to strike. So very well played from them. Astralis just getting caught out by the timing, and now, as you say, they are just on the pistols. Device still has that AWP out, but he's going to need to have a much bigger impact in this round than he was able to manage in the last one, if he wants to get this round going. As it is, this should be 5-0 NRG.
Well, the thing to have a look at here is where is Device going to be going with that AWP? It looks like he'll be playing aggressively through Party, maybe even into Fountain through the smoke, and that could catch someone off guard. It does. He's not going to be able to land the shot. Nice wallbang actually onto Breezy, but it's not really going to net too much of a result. A little bit of damage, but no real problems there for NRG. Now they know where that AWP is.
Do indeed. Should have a good read on the fact that the rest of the buy is pistols as well. For Astralis, though, stacked up around Connector, that's a team knife.
Yeah.
Don't want to be giving away the little mistakes like that. NRG and Device has a really good angle here. He can fall back down Con once he gets this kill if he wants to. And there's actually this crossfire here set up, waiting for NRG to walk into them. This is pretty dangerous now for NRG. Connector control is entirely held by the CTs.
NRG not interested in Connector, though. Looks like they're headed in the direction of Long.
This is the perfect call from them as well, because Connector is held, 2 players on B. No one watching this. No one from Astralis can really even get there. Device would have to run all the way back through bathrooms or all the way back up onto the site. So NRG have made the perfect call here.
Getting it to that bomb site for free by the looks of things. Zipex is on the Ro8, but he's not quite going to be able to get there in time. Astralis, they've figured it out, but they've found out too late. They have that player disadvantage, NRG, but now they have control of the site. They have time to get that post plant and get the bomb down. Fugly opens up there onto Dupree. Ethan as well, getting another kill on NRG. They seem to be stabilizing this round once more. Astralis, really at this point, best case scenario is to get some damage done and maybe save that AWP through for the next round as well. There's no chance of a retake.
Unless they get in here and get some kills immediately, and Ethan's still doing great work shutting them down. Device will be, or should be running off with that AWP. He's kind of locked in here, which is a bit unfortunate. Here's one with that gun, and he misses his shot. Now, should just get away into heaven. And we'll just get out, but that's NRG taking 5-0, only losing 1 gun.
Fugly's on the hunt here, though, so he might be able to find something in the end. Does go down to Glaive. Ethan as well is chasing. NRG, they're putting a little bit of money into this one, which they should be doing. They've got a heap of cash in the bank, but they don't quite manage to get anything out of it. 2 guns do go through for Astralis. In fact, really, what NRG succeeded in doing was giving that AK over to Glaive.
So that's something perhaps that can do a bit of damage for Astralis here, but a very good round out of NRG. I love these transitions, by the way. They're so smooth. But now a timeout coming for NRG, funnily enough.
Yeah, a very interesting time for them, up 5-0.
Well, this is where you want to take a timeout to just chill out, right? Just to think, okay, we're up 5-0. While this is a great start, we don't want to freak out and think, oh my god, we're going to beat them because it's still early days.
Definitely. Could be a case of maybe just getting a little bit ahead of themselves here on the land. Actually, I'm told it's an Astralis tactical pause, so that would make a little bit more sense. And, you know, they have a little bit to talk about, but they have only lost that one gun round, you know, so nothing too far gone just yet for Astralis. Still plenty of rounds to play with here, but this is where they want to start to claw their way back into it. Obviously, Overpass sometimes a little bit leaning towards the T side nowadays, but you still want to be getting a decent amount on your CT side here. And, well, so far, Astralis haven't managed to put anything on the board.
They do get another gun round out here, though. They've pretty much fully invested, though. 3 players very, very low on the old dollary dues. Glaive and Device still with a bit of cash, though, but it's the full AKs and rifle or buy out of NRG once again. Going to be spreading out, taking some connector control, looking towards Long and Monster. And they've done pretty different things pretty much every round here, NRG. It's not always the same setup for them this time. They know they're up against a full buy. Last round, they knew it was just a single AWP. So now they're going to default out, look for some info, see what they can find. And Device has 2 players here.
Yeah, this is dangerous for Device, but he just wisely backs out and just takes the single line, but he re-peeks, and Cirque, perfect timing again. It seems like everything NRG does is turning into gold.
That was a fabulous read from them as well. Knowing that Device would be there, they put 2 players, so even if the rifle swings out and dies, Cirque's there for the trade, or ideally vice versa. So that setup was to kill Device, and they got it for free. Didn't even lose a player, so that's a big impact player for Astralis gone now. NRG still going very slowly and in control of this round.
Not to mention a key part of the map there as well for NRG. If they can control connector, they can control the CT rotations, and their own rotations can be a little bit quicker as well. So, lots coming out from that simple frag for NRG, and they're looking good in this round again.
They do need to clear out Magisk here. He's playing behind the smoke, tucked in the corner, throwing more grenades to support him, try and draw presence, or try and draw info away from the fact that he's there. We'll drop a smoke for himself, but Cirque, in the meantime, is looking in towards A long, where a peek does come through from Glaive, but I don't think he spotted it.
No, he did not. So that could be a little bit dangerous for NRG. Magisk close by with only 20 seconds on the clock here. NRG are going to be rotating over onto that B bomb site. Magisk will shut 2 down. No, just 1. But he does buy a lot of time there. And look at the positioning of it. Astralis, they're going to be completely decimating NRG as they walk into that B bomb site. With only 10 seconds on the clock, there's no chance here for Cirque to be able to win this round. Best case he can do is just get the heck out of there and save that gun. A little disappointing for NRG. They looked really good in that round, but they just took the rotation a little bit too late, and Astralis had the info way too early.
They did indeed. That's an unfortunate one for NRG to be losing, but by the time they went for that rotation, Magisk was already out onto the A bomb site and shutting them down, getting himself the 1 kill there. Just delays that rotate a little bit longer, and the crossfire on B, well established. Astralis with a player towards Monster and short. With that little time on the clock, NRG couldn't really afford to take their time and figure out the crossfire. They just had to go, and they were shut down. So Astralis will get 1 round on the board, but that resets the loss bonus. So this round, very important for them to be winning.
Well, very important for both teams, in fact, actually, because NRG are getting relatively low on their economy here as well. And this time, the Device aggression does work out in the favor of Astralis. Starting to make his way into this matchup, getting involved a little bit.
Now Astralis just showing no respect at all, getting flashed into Monster, but Dupree can't quite find the angle quickly enough.
Cirque lucky perhaps to survive there. Daps has been spotted out by Glaive, but the frag is going to go the way of NRG. And once more, they're making their way into the B bomb site, but Zipex is holding strong. NRG just going a little bit too aggressive that time. They just didn't really work as a team, and now find themselves at a player disadvantage 2 versus 3, with both of their players very, very split up.
To be fair, this round could have been over earlier with that Dupree short push, but NRG have done well to at least make it this winnable for themselves. 2 players close on this bomb site, still locked out behind smokes, but Astralis have used all of their utility with a minute left.
Fugly in a pretty difficult position now, has to try and cross into the site with that bomb, and his teammate Cirque going down as well. That really does put a bit of spanner in the works. 2 in a row now for Astralis, and NRG should be back onto an eco here. Cirque may be a hero buy, but realistically speaking, probably more likely that he wants to save that one up for the AWP.
Most likely. So Astralis now, with 2 in a row, will be stabilizing their own economy, as you mentioned. Getting rid of all of the money that NRG had saved up. So that's pretty much their way back into this map now on the CT side. If NRG had run away with it, they were 7-0 here, then I think we'd be a bit concerned. But Astralis, the caliber of the team that they are, having 2 rounds now, set up to get a 3rd with the money the way it is, they've pretty much got their way back into this half here.
Look, it's not entirely uncommon, really, to see a 5-0 start for a T side. You know, you get the pistol round, you get the first gun round, and all of a sudden you're up to 5-0. So while it looks great on paper, it doesn't necessarily translate into anything unless you're able to continue that roll on forward, and Astralis have essentially stopped that right now. And so for NRG, this is where the going really does get a little bit tougher. We're seeing a bit of a technical pause, actually, as far as I'm aware, out from Astralis here. So it might be a little bit of downtime for both teams to think about things. And thinking is definitely something that NRG needs to do, but of course they can't talk to each other. So how much use they're going to be able to get out of it, I'm not so sure.
And the thing really that NRG have to worry about is the fact that Device is starting to wake up. Because Device as an AWPer, especially on the CT side, is very dynamic. Like, he'll be constantly shifting around trying to find aggressive peaks. We've already seen him towards the bottom of Connector. We've seen him picking out top Connector on that round where they had 4 pistols and the saved AWP. That time we saw him peeking in through Fountain. Like, he constantly shifts up where he's playing, but he's generally a very smart player and won't over-aggress. So as soon as he gets a pick, he'll fall back, give up a little bit of control, but still maintain presence. So he's a very, very good AWPer in that he's very good at maintaining what map control he actually has, and that's something that NRG are going to need to counter, and whether they can do that with utility, flashing, mollying him out, or if they need Cirque to start coming through and winning that duel, I'm not sure. You know, we'll have to see what they decide to do once we get out of this pause, but it's a very difficult proposition. It's, of course, Astralis are a star-studded roster, but Device is certainly a player who shines very brightly indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a great tournament at Marseille as well, and I guess across the board, really, Astralis did as well. But for them to come into this tournament, there was not necessarily questions about them. I think everyone was quite happily considering them up towards the top of things. But, you know, it is one result, right? Despite being a fantastic result at Marseille, you can't unequivocally say that Astralis is the best team in the world right now. That's what this tournament is about for Astralis. It's finding out whether or not they are going to be able to come away with another excellent result here in Sydney, and this is just the first step on that road.
Speaking of this from an Astralis point of view, though, Device, I'm pretty sure it was, tweeted out earlier saying, I know we're ranked #1 in the world right now, but it doesn't feel that way, and I feel like this tournament will decide it. So I think he's got a good point there. I mean, for me, the front runners in this tournament, FaZe have looked a bit, SK even have looked a bit shaky, but
clearly,
FaZe and SK really both have looked a bit shaky, but I can't count them out of being some of the best teams in the world. Astralis certainly are on form. Mouse are a really exciting team for me. Potential for Fnatic to keep going as well. They are currently the reigning IEM champions, having just won Katowice. So, I mean, there's a lot of teams that could come away with the win here.
Yeah, definitely. And it's quite an exciting time, really, to be in Counter-Strike, because anything could happen, essentially. You know, it's not necessarily like there's anyone's error or anything like that. We're not expecting... I think last year, coming into IEM Sydney, for example, we all sort of expected SK to come away with the win there. And they did, which was great. But now it's like, who actually is going to win IEM Sydney 2018? No one knows.
It's incredibly hard to call, and I'm sure it's something we'll talk about more over the coming days. But for now, we're getting back into the action. It is NRG on an eco, and Magisk wants to get started off, taking some early control towards Fountain, getting himself a couple of frags, shutting down NRG early if he can. Will have to fall back off it, but Astralis really shouldn't have any trouble here with the rifles against just pistols. There is the hero buy of Cirque, though.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to mention Cirque has decided to go into that AK, so we'll see what kind of usage he's going to be able to get out of that. But Astralis already so much map control right now, playing quite forward on that CT side. NRG might have a little bit of difficulty getting into this B bomb site. Breezy does manage to trade out Dupree, though. And it's a 4 versus 4 as NRG make their way in. Cirque lucky to navigate that grenade. It could have been the end of him. Zipex is going to be the end of Breezy, and so too Daps with the bomb. Holding very, very strong there in dirty water. And it is 3 players alive for Astralis. Not a bad eco. Or anti-eco, I should say.
Yeah, not bad at all. They've got the money to be able to invest back in on the guns that they do drop, so not a huge issue for them. NRG, they tried to find something towards Fountain, couldn't do it, tried to get into B, jumped through smokes, got shut down. Not much you can do, unfortunately, in that sort of situation with the choices that they made. So Astralis will be continuing on to the buy. NRG will get back into things. Their utility's a little bit limited, though, so I have to see how they try and take this one. And I want to see where Device is playing. It looks like he's going for a Fountain pick again.
Again, looks like he'll run through that smoke. This time flashed off by NRG, so they are starting to adapt to the playstyle that Astralis is throwing at them. However, it's been 3 in a row now for Astralis, and NRG, they need to answer back quickly. Otherwise, this first half might start to get away from them a little bit.
For now, though, moving slowly. They've denied Device the pick. He hasn't found anything moving up into party either, so he will be falling back onto A. This is what I was talking about with Device. He goes for the early pick, can't find it, doesn't overcommit though. He looks for info, but he doesn't get too much out of it, so falls back, keeps his teammate in toilets, so Magisk still has that control, and Device is holding the angle for short A. So now NRG, going out of Connector, will look to try and find themselves a kill here. Bomb still back safe in T-spawn though.
Slow and steady. Up long for NRG. As of yet, no information given over to Astralis. Claver's holding quite far back in the site. NRG making their way forward and getting map control quite easily at the moment. They still have a fair bit of utility to work with when they do get towards that bomb site, if they want to.
They haven't touched bathrooms yet, though, which is where 2 players are waiting for them. So if they do just go straight up long, even if they kill Glaive, they're still going to have to deal with this short flank coming in.
Yeah, and that's going to be Ethan going down. That's really critical, actually, for NRG. That was going to be the stab in the back, and it kind of gives everything away now. Astralis, they're waiting for this one. Glaive, he'll spray down the first. Thought he was going to get 2. But in the end, NRG, they're just going to walk into a crossfire now on this A bomb site. Just Cirque left alive. That was a great read from Astralis, and 10 seconds on the board. Cirque is not going to be surviving for too much longer here. Inevitably, he's going to go down, and he might go down after time. Not quite, but look, in the end, it was just that one pick that really threw a spanner in the works for NRG.
But even then, going through long, you can see there was 2 players turned anti-flash, and I think there was a flashbang over, but it certainly didn't hit a player who was close staring into them, which is really the position that you want to be blinding there. If you're going to run through backwards, the one player you want to be blind is the guy looking directly at you. So Astralis do take their 4th straight now. That pushes NRG back onto the pistols again. Astralis really starting to get rolling in this one. Going for the same setup they've been doing. Couple players up towards bathrooms. Actually a little bit different this time. They've got connector control taken straight away. And Device still watching Fountain.
Yeah, a little bit less aggression actually out from Device this time because he doesn't have the backup of those 2 CTs. We have seen a pick go the way of NRG, but the gun is not quite retrievable for them. That's one little semblance of silver lining to that for Astralis.
Still a lot of time to work with as well. So once again, NRG will slow it down. Daps has found a 1dig there somewhere under Zipex, but the rifle trades come straight back in. Dupree's gone aggressive to make sure there's no one else going B. That means he should be pretty confident in going back into connector here. Smokes himself off as well. Can make sure that no one's grabbed this gun from his dead teammate just yet. But NRG, they've done okay to get the first 2 picks. They're now going to be moving over towards A, where it's just Device. And while Device is very capable, if the pistols can get the 3-on-1 rush going towards him, maybe this works.
Yeah, no smoke, unfortunately, or even a flash there for NRG. Device has spotted out the information early and does get the incendiary down. So he's actually looking quite comfortable here on the A bomb site. Calls for the rotation from his teammates as well. And the window has been lost by NRG now with the crossfire that's being established by Astralis. If they would have, like you said, run out onto that A bomb site, 1 versus 3, maybe they lose a couple of players, but in the end, they don't even have that opportunity as the rotation comes across too quickly from Astralis. And now we're back to 5 apiece.
We are indeed. They've tied it up, I should say. So, pause coming out now for NRG. They won 5 straight. They've lost 5 straight. Effectively, we're back at the start of the game now. They're going to go back onto a gun round. So, need to reset, reconsider exactly what's going to be happening for them. So, the buy will be okay for them, so it can go into the AWP here, and he certainly looked pretty decent with that so far. Even in that, 3v1 that he was in on the A-bomb side a couple rounds ago, it certainly looked like he was going to hit a few of those shots.
If he would have had another 30 seconds to work with, the round, it would have still gone the way of Astralis, but might have given Cirque a little bit more room to work with, could have done a little bit more damage. But regardless, Astralis are definitely looking good coming into this now. They started off slowly, but Device is really getting warmed up. He's sitting at 10-3 right now, so really feeling a little bit unchallenged with that AWP. He's playing quite aggressively as well. He's not being forced back by the Ts or anything like that. And that early aggression, that early fast play that we saw out from NRG in the pistol round and in the anti-ecos, and even to an extent their first gun round, we're not necessarily seeing that so much anymore. They're being a little bit more subdued, and Astralis is starting to dictate how this game does play out a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even in the 3 versus 3 there, for Dupree, for example, over towards B, even before he went for the rotate, he makes sure to check in towards the monster push and then smoke himself off just so he wouldn't be surprised. So it's that sort of, I suppose, the care that Astralis are taking, even in like the 3 versus 3 situations where you'd think, surely you need to go fast and help Device, who's alone in the A-bomb side, or whatever the situation might be. They're still being careful. Let's look out for these, look out for the NRG players being sneaky. Once again, though, a tech pause for Astralis, so no opportunity for either team here to have a chat about what's happening.
Yeah, it seems to be something with Glaive's PC or with his mic or something like that. It was Glaive that called the pause last time as well, so not sure what's going on there, but obviously it didn't last too long last time, so that's what we're hoping for this time as well. But looking at the match at the position that we're at right now, again, it's, I suppose, a moment of almost suspense here for NRG because they know they've lost so many rounds in a row. Now they're starting to, or they're being given the opportunity in a way to stew over those losses, and that sort of thought process is starting to build up in their minds. They're thinking, okay guys, how do we turn this around? But of course, they can't even communicate, so it's going to be, I would say this is a pretty painful pause actually for NRG. Just thinking about what's ahead of them and what is behind them in this matchup so far.
That said, though, we are only 10 rounds in, so it's early days yet. We're at 5-5. So if NRG can win 1 or 2 more rounds here, even if they lose the half 9-6, 8-7 would be ideal, of course, if you can't win it, but losing at 9-6, that would still be okay. What they don't want to do here is lose at 10-5. And I know that sounds obvious, but of course, you've got to think about it 2 ways, right? Obviously, 10-5 is a scary scoreline to be facing down, but the other thing is, you win pistol, you're feeling great. You win the anti-ecos, good, we didn't lose too many people. We win the gun round, fabulous, first 5 rounds are ours, right? Astralis answers back with 10 straight. Your momentum from the early half is gone. Completely.
Yeah.
So
I would say even at this point, I think the momentum is gone for NRG. This is where they're going to have to start grinding out those rounds, and it's where we're looking at their stars now to step up and have those big impact performances. And you know, we've talked about Cirque, we've talked about Breezy early on as well in those pistols and the ecos, and he was looking good to start things off. But like I said, it needed to see it translate across into the gun rounds, and that hasn't necessarily been the case. Neither has it been for Cirque. He hasn't stepped up to the level that he needs to if NRG is going to beat Astralis.
But hopefully for them, they can get 1 or 2 more rounds here, reset the momentum a little bit, and ideally take the half out from Astralis. But given the form they're in at the moment, I think that is going to be quite difficult. But looks like we've got headsets back on, so hopefully not too much longer left in this pause. But until that point, Jordan, keep talking about the game, where we're at.
Yeah, keep talking about IEM Sydney in general as well. Look, I mean, this Group B actually, if we have a little bit of time to talk about it, I think is a very interesting group, really, because, I mean, unfortunate, obviously, that Na'Vi can't be here as well, because that would have really put another sort of little bit of a spanner in the works there for that group. Yeah, a bit more spice. But right now we've got, you know, the 3 front runners, but there's teams in there as well, like G2. Obviously, they're a little bit down on their luck right now. They're not having the performances that they would want to, but that's still a scary team that could potentially show up here at IEM Sydney and cause some havoc, you know, maybe drop someone out of that lower bracket or something like that, and really play a bit of havoc with the playoffs.
Exactly, because with the groups the way they are, I mean, it really can just be one upset that determines the outcome of the group. For example, going back to our Group A result really quickly, we had Greyhound losing against Cloud9, which we expected, right? And so we thought that best of 3 would be Greyhound take on Tyloo, which is a winnable game for them. Now, with Tyloo getting 1 upset win, now SK had to play Greyhound, then the team who drops down from that next game had to play SK. Like, as soon as we get 1 upset and one of these I suppose one of these really good teams in the lower bracket, it makes it so much more difficult for everyone. How is this for insane stats, by the way?
Yeah, 74% online. Like we said, I mean, NRG, they've been on an absolute tear right now through North America, and they have had a stellar run to the start of the year. The thing is, they haven't played on a LAN up until this point, so you can talk all you want about online results, but this is where it really matters now for NRG, and that's the storyline for them coming into IEM Sydney and finding out how they're going to be able to get things going here on LAN. But we are back into the game at 5 apiece. Astralis winning the last 5 rounds in a row, Tim.
And here's Device changing his positioning up again, looking towards long early on. We'll be holding that one off, making sure that NRG can't push. But NRG on their part, the rounds they won by going quick. Now, Astralis finding those quick picks, especially on the back of Device, have cowed them thoroughly, slowing down.
Yeah, just look at where the T's are playing right now. This is completely different to what they were doing at the start of the match even, and they're just being very, very reserved here against Astralis.
And look how much space it's giving Astralis as well. Dupree and Zipnix have completely cleared out water. They're going to keep going straight into Monster here.
Yeah, a lot of information there for Astralis. Nothing going on over on the B bomb site. In the meanwhile, Astralis are also pushing up through A. Glaive getting a little bit of positioning here up towards bathrooms, but that's just to get the grenade across, which does a pretty decent chunk of damage actually. A couple of players down a little bit from NRG, but Astralis, they've read this so well. NRG, they are absolutely in the frying pan.
This setup is so rough. As soon as they go around this corner, they've got Majisk, and then from there, Device is going to peek into them. Like, it's such a difficult thing. They will get a smoke out onto Device, but look at Dupree as well in the picture-in-picture there, sneaking around behind them. So even if they get these entry frags, it's still not going to go well for them, and they've got a team kill in there as well. So Dupree's here now to close this round out. He's got the bomb. NRG, this slower style is not working for them.
Certainly not. Dupree closes out both of the remaining kills as well, and so Astralis up 6 and 5, now 6 in a row. NRG, well, they could buy into this round, but at the moment, Astralis just don't seem to be really worried whether NRG have got guns or whether they've got nothing. They're winning every round anyway.
They're looking very clean doing it too. Only losing a couple players each time. NRG on the CZs now, for me, I think they should go fast here, just because going fast is really what won that first couple of rounds. We saw in the pistol, they got the pick on the Toilets player before he'd barely even peeked out, really, and started to return. So if they can go fast, find an opening, maybe that works out. But it's not going to be the case. They're going to go slow, take some connector control. This can still work, of course, if they can catch out someone on a push or find some good timing. Grab a CZ frag and open it up. But Astralis, you can see how confident they're playing. Look how much map control they've taken already.
Glaive in a prime position here, but it's a good flashbang actually through there from NRG, which will allow them one small opening into the bomb site. However, there are still a couple of CTs on the B bomb site for Astralis. Dupree just spraying down 3. Easy as you like on the anti-eco. Will be traded out by Breezy, but all in all, for Astralis, this has not been an overly concerning round. Breezy cannot get anything done with the retrieved M4. Up another one is Astralis, 7-5 now.
Very well navigated, that one. They do lose 2 guns, but it's not a huge issue. And the double AWP is out. Dupree going to be taking the secondary, and he's certainly a player that we've seen have some good impact with that. And of course, Dupree is just an incredibly solid player in general. So NRG now onto the AKs. No answering AWP for them. They do have bucket loads of utility to use to try and deal with it. But this is the sort of thing they're going to need to stop. The fact that Dupree has the freedom to push into short there, clear it out so his back's clear enough to take that fight, kill 3. He eventually gets traded, but now they're going quick. This is what we're waiting for, straight into B.
Yeah, but aggression on the other side of the map out from Astralis. They've read the situation again, and the grenade does a huge amount of damage over to NRG. The positioning here of Glaive, it's going to catch NRG off guard. He'll only get 1, but 2 for 1 is the trade there. NRG, they managed to get the bomb down, but Astralis will be able to set themselves up here for a good retake.
4 versus 3. They've certainly got the time to do with the bomb very freshly planted, and Dupree is going through the smoke with the AWP. He's found a lot of space here. He can walk straight into Ethan.
Yeah, Ethan goes down, and Fugly and Daps now the 2 just remaining to hold off this site. Fugly picks right into the crosshair of Dupree. Astralis, a very, very beautiful execute onto that B-bomb site. Not even dropping a single gun on the retake. And NRG, Tim, I mean, I don't want to call it early, but it feels like they are really just being forced out of this matchup right now.
They're being pummeled. Astralis are taking a lot of early map control and then using that very decisively to rotate through. You can see that Glaive that time, when Dupree pushed through short, he come off the B site, cleared it out, and then fought B. Glaive was just hoofing it straight down through connector and then going straight up onto B to fight. So they push, they clear it out, and then as soon as they know where NRG aren't going, that coupled with the fact that their teammates are calling, hey, a lot of footsteps on B here, they go, all right, let's just flank, close this out very quickly. So Astralis are looking very good. And of course, as we expect from this lineup, a very coordinated crew of 5, always working together, knowing exactly what they're on about. This time, they're again going fast. The flashbang is good. Yep, and that's Ethan down.
Early pick again for Astralis. Cirque looked like he wants to go forward and try and trade that one out onto Long, and he will be able to push on. Glaive does go down. There was a flashbang out there from NRG as well, so that's a good trade, but they need to get some more done here, because already Astralis are controlling the bathrooms. Magisk finds Cirque, and Fugly has spotted out Device there, but they just need to win these aim battles, and so far, 3 versus 3, you still don't really know which way this match is going to go, or this round is going to go. Fugly just jumps right into the crosshairs of Device, and oh! That could have been really bad, actually, for Daps.
But look at the positioning of the CTs now. Dupree already looking into the bottom of connector. While Zipex just plays down on the A-bomb site. The bomb is still down back in playground, so the round will slow down now as NRG have to go all the way back and get that. And if they decide to go down connector from this, go down into the B-bomb site, the bomb's going to go down immediately to Dupree. So NRG, the map is a minefield.
But this is the best sort of scenario that they've actually had in probably the last 8 rounds, actually. Astralis 2 versus 2. Typically, they've had that player advantage. And now Daps creeping up onto the site. Can he find Zipnix? Not quite. And Zipex will clean things up there. So now it's just Breezy, but Dupree, well, he walks right into him, but he wins the duel anyway. 9 up for Astralis. And that potential 10-5 that you were talking about.
Very dangerous now for NRG. Haven't been able to find too much. And look at this from Device. This is in a 3 versus 3. If you're the AWPer in this connection, in this situation, normally you'd think that the AWPer is going to fall back to site when he's being close. But Device, no. Hangs around, grabs himself the frag. And while he does get traded, he does enough. Wastes enough time that NRG, they can't quite clear out all the angles on the bomb site. Daps doesn't check for Zipex's position. And now they do get themselves a decent, well, it's a shaky buy, but it's a buy nonetheless. Better than pistols, but it's 4 AKs, limited utility, 1 CZ, and Dupree is going to stay here and fight this angle in connector. He's got Magisk to back him up as well.
Yeah, he spotted out both of those NRG players as well. Gets a leg shot onto Fugly. Nice start to the round for Astralis. They will give some ground here. They know that they're being encroached upon. So it's good from Astralis. It's really controlled aggression out here on the CT side. They're not just being aggressive and playing forward just for the sake of it. They're giving ground when they need to, and they're just playing the angles with this double AWP. Falling back into bathroom and making NRG slowly progress, making them fight for this map control.
Free's in a bit of a dangerous position here. Didn't know that there was a player on his hard left, but Majiska's going to get the kill on the long player as well.
Quickly into the A-bomb site though, go NRG. They've decided now is the time, and Magisk just holding a little bit of an off angle here. Breezy will go down. The trades are there for Astralis. 2 versus 2, and that shot actually hit Daps. Device, what is that? Now NRG, they need to get that bomb down. They've got 40 seconds to work with, but perhaps they can wrap around the back here, and Device may yet get caught by Fugly. He's on the ball though. And Fugly walks right into him. Device, he just seems to be everywhere right now for Astralis. Into a 1 versus 1 though.
Daps has read this perfectly. He's just going to run straight through to B. Zipex is flanking him out, so there's an opportunity now for Daps to get this bomb down. Has a Molotov as well, and he is going to plant safe from heaven, which will give him a little bit of time, but Zipex is already here, so there's not much room for him to move.
He's got a Molotov, but Zipex has got a smoke. So if it comes down to that, Molotov is not necessarily going to be quite as impactful as he would like, but Daps has got himself a good angle here. Zipex will peek right into it, and it's going to be 9-6 at the end of the half in the favor of Astralis.
It's a good read and a good result there for them.
Welcome back. It's the second half here between Astralis and NRG, and well, Daps clutching out that final round of the half puts it at 9-6 in the favor of Astralis. But that one round, it could be crucial coming into this second half, Tim.
Might just be, because now if they can grab the second pistol, as a reminder, they did win their Seaside pistol, so if they can go 2 for 2 in pistols here, then once again, if they can go pistol win, anti-eco win, put us at 9-9 heading into the first gun round, then we've got a game on our hands. For Astralis, though, if they can grab their T-side pistol here, we're looking at 12-6.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, it's not out of the water just yet here for NRG. They did, remember, lose 9 rounds in a row up against Astralis. Could well have been 10. And that really would not have been a very fun situation coming into the second half, but it is a little bit better. Now the task ahead, like you've said, is for them to win that pistol round here in the second half. Not so sure how much it's going to help them, but it will certainly be helpful as Astralis roll out here on that T side.
Going in towards the A-bomb site very quickly. Smoking a flash to open it up for them too. Fugly going to have to fall off this one. That's pretty much the bomb site lost already. They do have Cirque down long, who has to fight this though.
Yeah, and he'll be able to fight it well. Device does get dropped early on in the piece there. Bomb not yet down for Astralis. They're hunting some frags. Magisk might have an ugly surprise for him though. Ethan and Fugly, in fact, will be able to take him down. The bomb is planted for Astralis, but it's 5 players alive right now for NRG, coming from all angles, and there is surely no way that Astralis gets out of this one with a round win. 1 versus 5. Zipex not even in a position to deny that bomb defuse, which is now on, slowly creeping his way through bathrooms, but this is going to go well and truly in the favor of NRG. Bit of an anticlimactic end to the round there, but look, a great pistol out for NRG.
Yeah, that works very, very well for them indeed. Now, if they'd been inside connector, that might have been a different story because Astralis threw a Molotov, then a smoke into it and charged through the smoke up con. So if anyone had been in connector, they would have been Molotovs or just pushed with 5 Glocks jumping into their face. But NRG choose to play back on the bomb site instead. And the positioning of Cirque up on long, able to get that 1 frag and stay alive, allows the 5v4 retake from there. NRG just hitting some nice headshots. Means now they're going to go into a round where they have only the 1 SMG, 4 rifles on deck. And for Astralis, with the bomb plant down, minimal investment to get AKs out next round, with the exception of Zipex.
Yeah, look at the respect that NRG is giving Astralis in this round, though. 4 rifles invested into, just the 1 MP9 out for Daps. So they're really not letting anything to go to chance here on that CT side. They want to make sure that they can close out at least this second round. Obviously, like you said, the gun's going to come out for Astralis in the next. But for NRG, they need to take every single possible round here. It's a tough slog for them.
They need to do it without losing too many players as well. Get themselves established in this second half, win these rounds cleanly, get the anti-ecos on board. But Astralis has called this one well. They've gotten out towards long. Don't have much to work with though, just the pistols, and the long range of duels is favourable, or are favourable for NRG. As it's Cirque on the bomb site through the initial damage.
Clave leading the charge here for Astralis, but he will go down quite easily to Cirque, who is under a bit of pressure here. A lot of players coming from different directions. Astralis, they might be able to find a pick onto him. In fact, it's Fugly to go down, but the bomb, being dropped by Daps is probably going to be the nail in the coffin for Astralis in this round. It's just going to be a case of clean-up duty for him, and actually a very nice shot there. Lots of kills onto the MP9. Daps will be happy with that one, and retrieves the M4.
Yep, that's pretty much best case scenario for the SMG. They don't even lose a rifle because he manages to save it and gets himself a bunch of money. So that's what you want, especially now that Astralis are going to be coming at you with the full AK buy. Barely any utility with it because they are a bit limited on the old money. Care of not getting many kills in the pistol or the second round, but the bomb plant will help at least get them this much. And now I'll have to see what they can do with what's essentially raw aim. They've got 2 smokes, so if they go towards A, that's maybe 1 to get themselves into some positions, then 1 for like the bin or something, then a couple flashbangs over, but it's pretty much all going to be on the pop flashes and the aim here, which is certainly something that Astralis can answer for.
Yeah, what's the play though for NRG in the round like this? They are going to play fairly forward. In fact, Daps, I mean, that's not your standard position in a first gun round like this. Playing a nice crossfire though with Ethan, this could catch Astralis off guard.
Might, but the same could also be said for NRG, depending on how Astralis choose to fight this. They have walked all the way through connector, so as of right now, NRG do not know they're here. The door opening will give it away though, and there's Daps giving himself up, but still a player here to back him up with Ethan. Smoke goes in though, so once again, NRG slowing everything down on the CT side. Using a bit of util on this. The flashbang, I don't know how that doesn't hit to free, but gets tagged a little bit and he can't find a frag. So NRG, they give up the short control, but they keep their guns alive and get a bit of info out of it, and that's going to be the A play for Astralis.
Astralis, though, are methodically working their way through this T side right now. They're clearing out certain areas of the map and figuring out where they can go as a result. Now look at NRG. They're completely forced back into all of their sites. There's not much information for the CTs here as to what site is going to be attacked by Astralis, but it's a nice start there for Cirque. Device going down early on in the piece. The rest of the offensive, though, is going to be headed towards the B bomb side, and Breezy gets flashed out, drops himself down a smoke. Ethan is there to give him a little bit of a backup as well, and starting to look a little bit nervous here for Astralis. They walk their way into that B bomb site. The timing hasn't necessarily worked out for them. They've got 15 seconds left on that clock, and the bomb has been dropped. Breezy, we'll get a free one there onto Magisk. Just 1 more kill to go. It'll be Daps to close it out. NRG up to 9 apiece.
And because of that, at the start of this half I said that if they could do this, it'd be 9-9 heading into the first gun round. Not the case. It's 9-9 and NRG have won the first gun round with Astralis coming into it on the third round bye. So now, NRG, unless they somehow let this round slip against what's essentially Glocks and 2 Deagles, or what is Glocks and 2 Deagles, no you tell, unless they let this slip, they're going to get back into the lead here, which is something they sorely need. They did go up 5-0 in the first half of this game and then lost 9 straight. So getting back into winning ways is very important for them.
Yeah, well, they need to do a little bit better than 5-0 here, assuming Astralis does come back with a run like they did on the on their own CT side. But the good news here for NRG in a round like this is it's a great opportunity for them to build up their economy on that CT side. It can be quite difficult to get it going if you don't win that pistol, but NRG, they've given themselves every possible tool to win this map out.
Astralis for now, locked out behind the smokes, trying to find themselves a pick as they've already lost Device early on. NRG are dumping out utility early, but Astralis aren't going to make them wait for too long by the looks. The bomb still down, but they've already got some good presence up here. Cirque's going to spot one at A short as well. Zipex goes back to get the bomb. This could be the rotation coming through from Astralis though. They've certainly done a lot of that in these last few rounds, showing presence on one bomb site and quickly going to the other. Have to see where Zipex goes, but it looks like it will indeed be the rotation to be.
2 players still anchoring the B bomb site though for NRG. And they should be quite comfortable there as well. There's not going to be any flashbangs to push them off their lines or any smokes or anything like that to allow Astralis easily into the B site. Relying purely on that raw firepower, and Astralis just biding their time now.
Just waiting for the moment to push. There's not much utility left on NRG as they have dumped a lot of it, and here comes the full up short play. Ethan's ready for it, has a teammate on the bomb side, but he doesn't need him. Ethan shuts down 3.
Just Breezy left alive, or rather Dupree. And NRG, they close out a very good anti-eco. Like I said, opportunity for them to build the economy up. They've done just that. Ethan's up to 9.1k. So they're looking pretty good in that department. I mean, a few of them getting low, but there'll be enough for a buy through in the next round if they do lose this one. And that's really going to be the key for NRG here, is making sure that they don't let the economy game get ahead of them here, because that's where you can sort of come unstuck a little bit on the CT side. You could be at 13-14 or be up 14-13, for example, but you're not going to be able to get the buy, and then the game gets away from you.
And now it's another AK round out for Astralis. They flash Cirque back early, but Device, not at all ready for that double push coming out. Knife out straight into it. Not the ideal start for them. In the previous, I think, 3 rounds, Device has been the first player down. So now, fast play into B for Astralis.
Yeah, Astralis have recognized those 2 players out on long. Does mean the B bomb site might be a little bit more undefended by NRG, and it relies on the 2 players here. Breezy being one of those. Astralis have been allowed entry into the site. The bomb plant will go down as well, but it is at the cost of a player. And once again, NRG have the opportunity to go for a 5 versus 3 retake. Magisk pushing forward and taking control of some key areas of the map. Almost kills himself with a grenade. That would have been a little bit embarrassing, but down to 3 HP. He can still do work here with this AK. He's going to be able to do that as well. Ethan does go down. Daps with the molly, does get him, but it's a 2 versus 2, and this is starting to look a little bit more dangerous now for NRG. As they work their way into the site, but Zipex playing through the smoke will be able to get rid of Daps. Just Fugly now. And with a bink from a USP, he's going to mark the end of the round here for NRG. There's no chance for a defuse, and he does get taken down here as well. Zipex gets that done. Boy, oh boy, that was a great hold from Astralis, actually. 3 versus 5.
Yeah, they make that work very, very well for them, despite NRG getting the early advantage with that push up through long. And that's something really that you can never count Astralis out in these sorts of rounds, because even when the chips are down, they're 3 versus 5 locked into the bomb site. It's the individual skill and the firepower that comes through. It's Magisk managing to do that damage. It's the player on short peeking in through a smoke, locking it down. And it's the individual skill. So Astralis now managed to equalize this one. NRG, their buy is shaky. They're having to fall back onto an MP9 and a FAMAS. Still with a couple guns out. On their part, though, Astralis have a UMP. Device has been getting picked pretty much every round, so his money is a bit limited. Look to try and make some with the SMG if he can, but 10 and 10, this game certainly delivering, the closest one we've had on the A stream all day.
Yeah, well, it was pegged to be the match of the day, and there was a reason for it. Obviously, that online form for NRG, in a way, it is translating across here. I mean, it hasn't been a fantastic game out from either side, to be fair, but at 10 apiece, it's still anyone's game right now. And NRG, a bit of a weird defensive setup right now on this B bomb site. Dupree will shut that down quickly. Daps as well gets dropped, and Astralis very sharp into the B bomb site. Just completely decimating NRG there. Now Fugly and Cirque, all they can hope to do is save.
Yeah, got to hold on to these guns. That's unfortunate for NRG. They did have the 3-man short control taken, but the first player back onto the bomb site, instead of watching Monster, tries to run out with knife in hand, gets shot in the back, and from there it's just Astralis hitting entries. Glaive is hearing these players. Could just shut him down. There's one kill. Now he's looking for the AWP on Cirque.
Well, that would be the major prize, wouldn't it? Cirque is surely not going to survive too long here. Astralis going to be quite keen to hunt him down. The only way he lives is by fighting his way out, but he's going to have to fight at every turn. Flashbangs and everything will be thrown at him. In the end, dupreeh gets rid of him. Up to 11-10 again. Astralis have regained control. And NRG forced back onto an eco.
Now, Device there decided not to go for the AWP. He was standing there and thinking about it, but he keeps the M4. And now the M4 and the MAC-10, the thing that those weapons do is, on the next round, sure, they should win this one, Astralis, but going into the gun round, they probably won't keep the MAC-10. They may well keep the M4, though, and what that does is it forces the CTs to buy head armor. Because unless you want to be one binked by an M4, it just becomes another AK, then you think, okay, maybe we need to start investing in head armor, which limits your utility or your kits.
Yeah, bit of an extra hit to the economy there for NRG, if that is going to be the case. For now, Astralis, they have been granted free passage towards that B bomb site. They haven't actually committed to the B site just yet, though. Not aware that it is more or less of a stack towards the upper side of the map for NRG.
NRG have full connector control, info towards long, but Astralis have made the perfect call. They're going and clearing out the B bomb site. Glaive's here for the juicy eco frags.
Oh, easy. Easy as you like for Glaive. Just Daps and Breezy. And Astralis really haven't had to work too hard in this round. NRG have sort of thrown bodies at them.
They took full B site control without the bomb, which is why they're all now back here getting it, but they're still finding the kill, so it doesn't really matter. Might have been dangerous had one of the CTs been able to lock down the bomb, but in the end it's easy kills. Glaive doing a good bit of cleanup with 3. Astralis take 12, and Device still holding onto that M. No, he's going to drop the M4 to dupreeh and buy an AWP. So that, of course, will keep the economy going a bit. They don't have to buy another gun, and there's the whole head armor thing that we were just talking about. So it's dangerous now for NRG. Astralis getting a bit of a roll going. They will have to buy into this one, NRG. Full M4s, 1 from us. No AWP, limited utility, no kit.
Yeah, again, not a great buy for NRG, and that's not what you want to be seeing when you're staring down the barrel of a 12-10 for Astralis, who really do seem to be, again, starting to wake up into this second half. It took them a little bit of time in the first half. It's taken them a little bit of time here again in the second half, but really, as long as you get the job done in the end, it doesn't matter how long it took for Astralis. We saw that for Tyloo. They're in the upper bracket. SK is in the lower bracket. And for Astralis, they're hoping to continue their way on through this upper bracket now, but starting off the round with a nice pick there for NRG. And we're already seeing that push forward from Fugly. This is going to catch Glaive off guard. That's the bomb dropped as well, and Device he picks as well. Fugly, great work. And Astralis versus, well, 2 versus 5. What are they going to be able to do here?
dupreeh at least will find the first, but the bomb is down on the other side, the far side of long wall, so they're going to have to expend some utility to get to it here, most likely, unless they can manage to find some god-tier timing walking in, which they shouldn't. So they're going to have to use some utility, which means they're going to be limited, even if they get the bomb into a 2v2. And they still haven't managed to do just that. Zipex is going to wait for dupreeh to try and wrap around through the A bomb site, which he might just make work yet, but 40 seconds, 2 players here for NRG. It's very difficult indeed for Astralis now.
Needs to be a big play out here from Zipex or dupreeh. Hopefully from dupreeh right now, because he's the one that is in danger of being dropped. Daps will peek him. That's dupreeh gone. Zipex as well. A great round out from Fugly. Fantastic 3 kills. And the AWP secured through to the next as well. NRG, that's the exact round that they needed to pick up.
It was a really good read from them onto Astralis as well. You saw when the push into short water came in earlier in the round, they killed it with the boost, but they also dropped a nade on it early in the round. So they're very aware that Astralis have been sending 2 people there, or like to send 2 people there. But of course, the round does come down to Fugly, shutting it down with the 3K towards long in the end, dropping the bomb early as well.
Yeah, Fugly took a fair while to actually get involved in this game, really, because he's been sitting on 4 or 5 rounds for quite a long time, or 4 or 5 kills, sorry, for quite a long time. That round was a big impactful round, though. So NRG still making Astralis work for this one. If Fugly can have a little bit more impact like that in the next few rounds, Astralis are going to have a little bit more of a difficult time trying to close this map out than what we might have expected. Tactical pause out now for Astralis as well, so a little bit for them to think about from the looks of things.
In fairness, though, that round was a big individual play from Fugly that won it. Sure, probably don't send the bomb out first. That's the one, I guess, change up that they can make, because the trade couldn't come through and recover it. But Still, you can't count on one player sitting in a corner like that to get 3 kills for you every time if you're NRG. They do have this boost up here once again. And it's slightly different from the boost they did last round, so maybe Astralis won't be looking for it, but I'm sure they will check it. There it is.
Ethan just gets absolutely demolished. He's flashed out. He's trying to hide down below the wall, but his head goes off anyway. That's a perfect start to the round for Astralis.
Dupree is very good at hitting that shot too. We've seen him doing a bunch with a Deagle as well in not so much this year, but like looking back previously on this map, he's fabulous just running in and one-tapping that. So it's a hard angle to hold against a player like him. And now Astralis spreading out, taking some time. They've got a player all the way up through A toilets. They still haven't picked up this bomb. They're taking a lot of time here to just feel out the NRG defense, get themselves a pick or two, get some info, and only then do they commit with the bomb. They're taking a lot of time figuring out exactly what they want to do before they do it, and that forces NRG to try and find any sort of info or kill that they can. They've got 3 players down towards B as well. So if Astralis do choose to go A here, it's all up to Cirque with the AWP.
Yeah, very, very difficult really for NRG to get any information out right now. They have got control of the sort of the B bomb site quite heavily, but they don't have any position to get information from. So it does look like it's all going to be on the shoulders here of Cirque on the A bomb site. Astralis, well, device goes down early on in the piece. So let's see what Cirque has for us. He now changes his angle over to long. Hits the shot actually onto Dupree, but it's through the wall, and now he's going to be forced back by the spam of NRG. Ro8 does come across, and Fugly gets absolutely smashed, but he smashes back. Glaive goes down through the smoke. There might still be a chance for NRG in this round. 4 versus 3. Bomb has been planted early, though, by Astralis, and they're getting themselves into those post plans. Now the work really begins for NRG as they work their way forward. Daps leading the charge. NRG, they need to find some frags, and Daps might be the one to do it. Not quite. It's Cirque, and he gets the hit onto Dupree. And that'll be the defuse. NRG, 12 apiece is where we're at. They're keeping themselves alive.
That was a hectic retake, or a hectic post-plant situation really for both teams, but it's Cirque in the end. That's the AWP power we've really been looking for him, shining through with 3, but I think goodness me is a very fair summary of that round.
It was just a vomit on the kill feed, really. Look at that. Like, how do you even tell what's going on there in the end?
7 kills.
Cirque just comes up with a massive couple of kills, and then NRG come away with the round. Now Astralis, their money's getting a little bit low. This is starting to become possible now for NRG.
It is indeed, and the change-up is here for them, going up towards the fountain, peeking into connector early as well. This time they don't want Astralis finding a free pick and then running away. They want to get in and dictate the flow of the round if they can, and they're hunting around for it now. But in the end, haven't found anything early, so they'll fall back, play a bit more passive setup on the bomb sites. 3 over on B, once again, just a 2 on A. But as you said, the guns limited for Astralis. 3 AKs, 2 CZs. Bit of utility.
There's an MP9 out as well on NRG's side, so the economy is not really there for either team just yet. But this round could be absolutely critical for NRG, getting themselves into a winnable position. I wouldn't necessarily say this is unwinnable, of course, for NRG, but they have not got a stranglehold on this map just yet.
Not just yet, but this hold in toilets is vital for them. They need these players to hit their shots, because if not, this is the only A defense. That shot now might just open this whole thing up. Cirque missing that. These CTs have to try and fall back here. And fortunately for them, Astralis have not applied the pressure instantly, but here they come.
Well, Cirque has another opportunity. He misses the second shot, but does get the third across. Magisk trades out Fugly, a good frag from him, but Astralis, they might not have enough to get into this A-bomb site just yet. Cirque is still lurking, and there's a hole in the smoke for him to work with. He's spotted out the players, but again, another missed shot out here from Cirque, and the bomb will be planted, but punished there by Cirque, in fact, actually getting the kill onto Zipex. 2 versus 3 now.
I don't know how that's a Cirque frag, but Glaive, sitting inside Bank, has a great position to hold this one off. It's a 3v2. He needs to find this frag, and they're all going to run past him.
NRG don't know that he's here. He just has to bide his time and wait. And oh, this is perfect right now for Astralis. Glaive, he can come up absolutely massive.
Oh, he spots all 3.
There's absolutely no way that Glaive is able to win this. Surely
I think he's
not.
taking too long.
No, he just needs to hit the play on the defuse, and he does. Oh, I think they've got time, Tim. NRG, they're going to sneak it away.
Oh my god. Glaive, that was the patience of...
Maybe too patient.
Maybe too patient, but even then, like, you're not, in that sort of situation, even though you see all 3, it's incredibly low percentage play that you kill all 3. So going for the bomb plant or bomb diffuser was right, but he had a really awkward line to walk there where he doesn't want to let the diffuse get too far where they get it, but he's also trying to buy the maximum amount of time so they can't diffuse it. But oh my goodness, despite that, it still somehow doesn't go the way of Astralis. NRG steal it away, and Astralis now, tactical pause again. can see in the back there, Zonix getting involved on the action. They need to figure something out.
Well, the thing is right now for Astralis, their money is, it's enough to afford to buy through, but it's not going to be a fantastic buy. I don't think they have enough to get the AWP through. I don't think they have enough to get a lot of utility through. Have to have a look when we do get back into the game. But right now, this is NRG's match to take. And imagine that, SK dropped down into the lower bracket. Now potentially Astralis as well drop down into the lower bracket. This could be a very, very crazy, ludicrous even, first day at IEM Sydney.
This is what we were talking about as well. All it takes is 1 or 2 upsets, and the lower bracket is hell for any team that falls into it, because now you're potentially looking at, if you're in the lower bracket in either group, you've got to face down SK or Astralis in your first best of 3.
Well, it's going to be a pistol buy out here from Astralis with the armor as well. And it's every single round, I feel like I'm a broken record right now, but it's another critical round here for NRG. If they drop this one, they're onto the eco. Astralis comes away and wins the map. So incredibly important that NRG don't let this one drop.
But they're set up well to do it. This time, as we've seen, there's been a very passive setup for them on their CT side in general. They've occasionally had some very early, or brief early pushes for info, but even then they fall back and play bomb sites. And that's going to help them here, because now Astralis are just going to go slow around the map and try and find something, but here comes the straight execute onto B.
This isn't something that we've seen yet from Astralis. Getting that execute out onto the B bomb site. Are NRG ready for it? It seems that they are. They've done a lot of damage. Now all they need to do is clean up the remaining frags. The bomb's been dropped, and Astralis, they're in disarray right now. Daps gets 2 with the FAMAS. That's over. The round is done. NRG, they put 14 on the board. Astralis, they've got 1 more chance left. This buy coming through in this round. Otherwise, they will very likely be knocked down to that lower bracket.
How does Breezy stay alive there? He was the player at Barrels, getting dinked by the first CZ while he's dropping a smoke on himself, and then his teammates cannot find him through, or I suppose Astralis can't find him through the smoke. The rest of NRG coming on in. Big round from all of them, really, on this CT side, holding strong, shutting it down. Astralis, these are not words I thought I'd be saying today, but no. NRG are making it work. If they take this one bye, they can potentially close this whole thing out right here, and they've gone for this boost again. The last few times they've done this, it's been punished. Let's see if Ethan can hit it this time.
Flashbang is going to come across here from Astralis. Dupree's just watching, and Ethan takes the repeat. Breezy there looking for the trade. Can he get Magisk? The answer is no. It's 3 versus 4, and Astralis will barrel their way into this B bomb site off the back of those 2 picks. Now it is just onto Daps. He's playing close by that bomb site, waiting for those rotations to come across. The bomb may well go down for free here, but no, Cirque does manage to find one there with the AWP, and Daps has not given his position away just yet. However, Fugly might have made a little bit of noise going in, so that could be problematic here for NRG. Still, let's see what they can do. Zipex does destroy Fugly, and now it's 2 versus 3. The bomb's still not yet planted. He's stuck in short. I know he's a monster, but he's decided to go back to the A bomb site by the looks of things, or at least disengage the fight here. And that's maybe not a bad decision for Astralis.
But Cirque's called this immediately. He's going to rotate first. He'll get there before Astralis will, which makes this one doable. So they've both called this NRG. NRG, in fact, Daps and Cirque straight up here waiting for it. Astralis, I think they might just get in here first, but again, they haven't committed just yet. Now though, they'll go. Magist needs to find this entry, but Cirque is waiting.
Yeah, this timing is going to be so crucial for both of these teams. Astralis don't have a lot to play with. 25 seconds left on the clock. Glaive will be getting that bomb down. Nothing Cirque can do about it, apart from doing a bit of damage, which is helpful. Daps, he spotted Magisk, but Glaive is going to actually save Magisk. Now it's a 1 versus 2 here for Daps. The superstar from NRG, what can he do? Still spamming away with the AWP. His position is known. He knows where the 2 Ts are, but in the end, he can't get the job done. And Magisk shuts him down. 13 to 14. Astralis hanging on by a thread, but they're still hanging on.
At this point, if you're NRG, don't do that boost again. Dupree has just nailed the headshot on it, which is, as we mentioned, something he's so good at, but it's giving Astralis a free frag every time. And while NRG do really well to get back into that, it's not quite enough in the end. I mean, in that 2v1, if they don't lose a player there after spamming down the bomb planter, it stays in a 2v2, they win that round. But the fact that Glaive's able to get the trade, force it into Cirque on the 1v2, makes it pretty much undoable for them. So NRG, they do hold on to a tenuous lead. And now they're going to go for the tac pause. And this is something else as well. This is the first tactical pause that they have used, I believe. They've got 3 left. So, Astralis have used 3 of theirs.
Yeah, definitely. And so has NRG. Have definitely been feeling pretty confident throughout this map. But the question for me now is, what does NRG do in this round? Do they give it up? Do they take the eco and get a full buy through the next round? Or do they force into this round, bearing in mind a couple of their players aren't going to be able to get proper guns and proper utility out? It's a tough decision, but they've decided to force into it. They want to shut it out now.
And they've got a pretty decent buy together. Cirque's back on the AWP, and he started to have some good impact with that. Now he's going up into Fountain and hits the shot on device. It's not quite a kill, but it slows it down at least. And he gets out with his life. That's, apart from getting the kill, that's best case scenario there.
Yeah, well, it's an advantage for NRG, and they need to be taking those small ones and snowballing them into bigger and bigger ones. Cirque will be flashed off the line in bathrooms and potentially fall back into the A bomb site here. So Astralis have managed to gain some control of the map, but Cirque is going to continue to challenge.
He might just find the first frag. Spots the shoulder of Glaive and will fall back off of that. But Astralis this time, all getting set up to go towards A. This is pretty much going to come down to this first fight here. If Fugly can find one and then get out without going down, this could be an NRG round. But if he just falls, then all of a sudden there's so much pressure on the A site defenders. And once again, Astralis, they slow it down. They still haven't committed to this bomb site. They're searching through Connect now to make sure that there's no flank. But at this stage, it looks like it will indeed be A. And it's all going to come down to the aim duels here. 45 seconds on the clock. NRG, they've used pretty much all their utility. It's only one smoke on Breezy left. It's going to have to be some sharpshooting from them.
Well, Astralis pulling out all the stops now, but they're going to be running into Cirque, who has really been putting in the work in this second half. Fugly gets demolished again. Xipexes look so good on these entries for Astralis, which puts NRG at a player disadvantage. Ethan, he had the opportunity to trade it back. Can he deny the plant? Yes, he can. And with 20 seconds on the clock here for Astralis, that could be very, very problematic. And look at the rotation coming around the back here as well. Daps with that MP9. He's spotted out Zipex. He's making a little bit of noise here, but no one from Astralis is there to hear him again. Another kill, 10 seconds on the clock. Can the bomb go down here for Astralis? They're just milling around the bomb site. Headless chickens. And Breezy, he denies it. There's not going to be a round here for NRG. Daps, he's just running away. It's 15 up on the board now for the CTs and Astralis. Now they have to really dig deep.
That round was almost won for Astralis 3 separate times, and every single time NRG managed to sneak through and get that bomb plant away. That was so, so close for them, but now 15-13 Astralis, they need to dig deep here. NRG have gone for the tack pause. They don't have much money, despite coming away with the round win there. The only gun they saved through is that MP9, so they're going to have a bit of a shaky buy, but the important thing is they've at least guaranteed overtime against Astralis here.
Absolutely bonkers, Tim. What a day so far we've had here at IEM Sydney. Oh, never did I think it was going to be SK down into the lower bracket, nor did I think we were potentially on the precipice of seeing Astralis down into that lower bracket as well. It's absurd, but it could well be true here for NRG, translating that form from online here into LAN. And if they can do this, it would be a massive, massive upset.
Would indeed, but about to get back under the way into the game here. Look at the buy for NRG. They've had to go on to 3 for Masters, only the 1 M4, but on the side of Astralis, they've chosen to go for a bit more utility heavy. 2 AKs, 3 CZs, bunch of smokes, and they're going to go over towards B. Now, Ethan, you can't go for this jump again. Dupree's ready, and this time he won't give up his life. But that will give control of short water over to Astralis as they begin to work in towards this B-bomb site.
Well, this is really anybody's round, isn't it, at this point? NRG, with that kind of a buy, it does not fill you with a lot of confidence, particularly when Astralis has a couple of AKs and they've lurked their way up so close to this B-bomb site. Really comes down to some good shooting here from NRG, and Daps will go down. Breezy as well. Ethan on his own on the site, can't get any more than just the one. This looks like NRG might be bowing out of the round, and at this point, they really need to be saving these 2 FAMASas through. They're not going to get a buy in the next round.
I think it might just be overtime on the cards here, Jordan, with that coming through. The double nade destroys the barrels player. Can't get anything done. They wide peek in front of the MP9, and Daps has too many people to shoot at. There's nothing that they can do. Astralis play it perfectly, getting the bomb down on the B-bomb site, forcing the save.
They're making a lot of noise. Glaive has heard this, and he's ready for them coming around from long. He only gets the 1, but 1 is still really good for Astralis right now. They are going to be able to get that buy through, and NRG, if they lose this FAMAS, oh boy, look at that money, Tim.
Overtime, I think. Dupree sitting on 30 frags right now. They had a massive game from him on the side of Astralis, but 14-15, NRG need to convert a pistol round, essentially. It's all they have. They've gone for the 5 CZs. They've gone for the basic utility. But Astralis need to slow this one down, play it carefully. Don't give away too much to these CZs.
Well, we know how strong the CZ is in at the moment, Tim. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going through to overtime. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch right now for Astralis. I'm sure they won't be either. Just making sure that they can close this out. Just though, take an aggressive peek here into Ethan, and that gives the opportunity over, but Ethan's running out of bullets. Will be overwhelmed. Breezy's looking for the trade, and he just can't quite get it done. Needs to fall back into that side. Daps, oh my goodness. Just is going to go down here almost as well, but he does manage to get the trade, or Device, in fact, saves his life. 3 versus 4. NRG, they had the right play, but they just couldn't land their shots.
Fugly could cut this off.
He's hearing it.
He's definitely hearing it. That will force the rotate out of his teammates. They'll head back up to A. But unfortunately, Fugly can't actually stop it.
But he can get some crucial positioning here if he just bides his time and waits. He gets around the back. Cirque playing an off angle.
Magisk's waiting for him, though. Fugly, of course, can't know it, but he cannot push here. And Astralis might even fall out of this one just yet. They can still go down Connect to go back towards B. They have left Zipex over there, but he will fall out and go with his teammates as well. So a 4v3, Astralis definitely in the driver's seat. Device trying not to make any noise as they go towards A. Of course, the rotation is here, but now Zipex going to go down, clear out Con. Fugly needs to win this fight.
Yeah, Cirque probably needs to win a fight as well. Everyone from NRG needs to step up here. Device, oh, Zipex does go down to Fugly. Device was spotted there as well by Cirque. 3 versus 3, it's still possible for NRG, and now Fugly has an AK. Look at the positioning here of Cirque. There's 20 seconds left him. The bomb could well be denied as well by Breezy. All he needs is 1 kill here. In the end, he can't get it, and the bomb will go down for Astralis. The retake still possible for NRG. Now it's all onto Fugly. 1 versus 2 with the AK. He spotted out the first. He knows roughly where Glaive is going to be. The flashbang safely negotiated, but he still has a lot of work to do. Device will go down. The headshot comes across, and now Fugly, all he needs is 1 more shot. Glaive just holding the angle there into Bank, but there's time. The time is running out right now for Fugly. He just has to take that peek, but Glaive is not giving him an inch. Fugly, can he do it? I don't think he's got the time anymore. He does not have a kit. In the end, Glaive is going to come away with the round. 15-15. We're through to overtime.
Goodness me, that's an incredibly gutsy clutch there from Glaive to make it work.
He just was not keen to take that fight at all. Fugly hit a great shot to start off that 1 versus 2, but in the end, yeah, Glaive, he just played it perfectly, really. There was nothing that Fugly could do.
He would have had to stick the bomb, and with no kit, sticking the bomb was not going to work. So into overtime we go. The second time today, the first time on the A stream though, Jordan. Have to see which of these teams can win it out now that the financial issues are gone. So not going to have to worry about money here. No one will be stuck on a FAMAS or an MP9 or any of that. On the CT side, no Galils or any of that nonsense. It's going to be full buy versus full buy. And I think in the gun round v gun round clash, we've seen Astralis looking better, but I don't know. I mean, we've brought it all the way to overtime. Zion's getting excited.
Yeah, like really at 15-15, it's as close as it's going to get, really. So, yeah, these gun rounds. Astralis starting on the T side. The AWP is out for Cirque. No double AWP for NRG, of course. And well, this is where it all starts to boil down. Who knows? Maybe double overtime here, Tim. Oh, what a great shot to start off with, though, for Cirque. Device, he just goes sailing through the air.
And gets plucked down. Cirque being the clay shooter there. Now leaves Astralis with a 1-man disadvantage, but they've been very good at navigating these situations, taking a lot of map control, moving slowly, and trying to figure out exactly where NRG are playing from. So with 1 minute and 20 left on the clock, they managed to find their way up onto B short. There's a good bit of spam as well, forces Ethan down a little bit. Needs to be very careful jumping around these boosts, as he's been picked quite a few times through and around there.
Yeah, Astralis definitely have been on top of that. If nothing else. Glaive, well, what a great angle there onto Fugly. No chance for Fugly, really, to get anything done. Probably didn't even spot Glaive out until it was too late. 4 versus 4. Astralis will make their way again towards the B bomb side, and Monster has been where they've managed to get a lot of positioning from. Dupree has lurked his way out. Breezy, though, he does spot him. Brings it back to a player advantage now for NRG.
Once again, though, for Astralis, they do all of their early questing in these rounds, all the early map control that they take, they do it while leaving the bomb in a safe position, then, based on what they find, they move. So they haven't really hard committed anywhere apart from 1 or 2 rounds. And it's the same thing here. They've lost a few players, managed to get the 1 trade frag back. They're going over towards A, but in the meantime, look at the adaptation from NRG. They're doing what Astralis did to them. Double push through Monster. Call that it's not going to be B. The rotate can come in, but already the push is happening on A.
Cirque waiting with the AWP. Again, he gets a damaging shot, but not a kill. This time he has a second option, but doesn't quite land a shot. Good thing Daps is there. He'll shut the round down. NRG up to 16, and Cirque, I just want to point out how many times he's actually hit a player, but hasn't killed them with that AWP. It feels like far more than you would ordinarily see out of an AWPer. Like, it's good, you get the damage, but you don't get the kill. It's like, it's a, you know, who gets the win out of that situation, really?
Well, regardless, it will be NRG who managed to take for themselves the first round. If you're unsure of the format, by the way, $16,000 these teams get at the start of these overtime halves. 3-round halves, first rounds to 6. So we're looking, or first to 4 out of 6 rounds. So we're looking for 19 as the Magical's number here to win this one. But now Device is looking for Cirque, the mind games here. Both players very aware of what they've been doing. And in the meantime, Fugly's here for the trade.
Look at this aggression out from Fugly. Astralis absolutely no idea what's going on there. Fugly gets himself a free one. He'll be able to find a passage out as well. Another good start to the round here for NRG.
And this is really what NRG need to be doing. Taking the momentum away from Astralis, finding these early picks, meaning that they can dictate the round. And that's spam. Oh, Daps!
A headshot through the wall. Oh my goodness, Magis goes down, and Dupree, he got a bit of a tickle there as well. Daps will be feeling pretty pleased about that. This is starting to go a little bit awry for Astralis.
NRG are looking so confident on their CT side now, playing the aggression, looking for the early kills, finding them in fact. And that just forces Astralis onto the back foot. They've got to try and work with what they have, which is not much. They've got, between 3 players, essentially 1.5 full belts of utility. So they can make a bit of an execute work. But in a 5 versus 3, or 3 versus 5 for them, 3 players on this B-bomb site.
They're looking for the boost. Glaive, what's he going to be able to get done here? The grenade, it's not going to be enough to get a kill.
Do some damage into Monster, try and soften them up, but that's where the bomb is going. Double nade, actually.
Oh, that's huge. Oh, I thought it was the grenade. Zivex does get Ethan, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough here for Astralis. 30 seconds left. The bomb's been spotted by Breezy. He'll go aggressively through Monster. That does give a pick over to Astralis. Now still doable, but Daps wins an important duel. Dupree going down. There should be no hope of Glaive even being able to get a bomb plant down given the positioning now of NRG. A player on short. That's Fugly. The round again the way of NRG. 17 to 15 now. One more to close out the half.
Playing very well indeed now, NRG, on their CT side. And this is where Astralis' slow style at the start of rounds will be punishing them, where they slow down, take map control. For example, Device going towards Fountain there. He gets picked, but that's from a push from Fugly. But even in short, NRG are very aware that Astralis have been taking it, and they're very confident giving it up. Now that they're not playing for the boost and getting picked by Dupree every time, they can start to play the spam game, get the early damage through, and open up the round. So Astralis, they've been losing the first player every round so far in overtime. That time it was the first 2. They have forced Cirque off, though, and he's going to be chased.
Yeah, very, very close. If Dupree would have continued on with that push, so it could have definitely been under a bit of a problematic scenario. But look at this now, out from the door, Dupree, he gets 2. Ethan and Breezy go down, and I was going to mention the double AWP here for NRG. Now really, what we have to talk about is Daps on this B bomb site. He'll be forced back, but they know his positioning. As Circus rotated across, still their potential for NRG to close this round out, but now they really have to fight for it. Cirque just goes aggressively through the flashbang. Daps, oh, there's a player on top of him. It's Glaive with the Goomba Stomp. In the end, Fugly, 1 versus 5. Spotted out the first couple, gets those 2, but in the end, will be traded out by Device. So, 2-1 at the first half of overtime. I feel as though that does favor NRG, though.
Certainly. They started off very, very well there. At least they get themselves 2 rounds out of 3, and admittedly now they're going onto their T side. They started out their T side 5-0. While they did get smacked after that, it was the fast pace early on that was winning them rounds. So if they can go back to that here, get themselves, I mean, they need 1 more round to secure at least OT2. 2 more to take it out. So it's very doable for them.
Yeah, it's been a great battle between Astralis and NRG. I'm still not sure who I want to call to come out of this one, to be honest. Double AWP is out though for Astralis. Benefits of the 16k.
Now they're going to be playing this spam around this boost, and Dupree's found Ethan. That's a good start. They've got the first pick. NRG looking to work over towards B. Breezy's made a bit of presence out from short. The rest of NRG, though, starting to group up over with their team. Astralis still have 3 players here, so now NRG get to get a little bit of their own medicine here. They've lost the first player to an AWP pick, and they've got to try and come back.
Molotov's out onto the site here from NRG, but really Astralis seem quite untouched there on B. They're quite comfortable. Zivex does get a great 2-man spray down. Daps and Breezy dropped. There's just Cirque left alive now. And he's not even going to be able to land that shot onto Glaive. A perfect round out for Astralis.
Fabulous for them indeed. Dancing around the smokes and the flashbangs in the B bomb site. And NRG, even though they got all the flashes over, they didn't move quite quickly enough to go with them. You can see they completely blinded the AWPer on the side. I think it was Dupree playing Pillar, but he managed to, well, he came unblind before the push came in. Zipex, of course, sprays down 2 as they come through that short smoke. Pretty easy round for Astralis in the end. Of course, though, we are in overtime. They do get 16k, so both teams going to buy straight back in on any guns that they lose. NRG now with a tied scoreline facing them down. They need to get this, or they're facing down map point. And to bring it this far and to lose an OT would be pretty heartbreaking.
Absolutely. NRG, they've definitely put in work throughout this map. Remember, they were down 9 rounds in a row in the first half. Astralis did such a great job, and Breezy again. It's the Orbs having the impact here for Astralis right now, finding the 2 opening picks in these last couple of rounds. It's just a carbon copy of the last half, isn't it? Very
much the case now. But Astralis have found themselves the first pick in a round that could put them onto match point, finally. And look at Device here peeking into bathrooms. Might just catch them out if they peek into him, but he's still looking for this. This is very risky from Device. If he gets a kill and gets out, great. He actually might even find his way through with the CZ.
Well, this is dangerous indeed for NRG, more so than for Astralis. Device, you'll get 2. No, Ethan got the kill onto Cirque. In the end, it doesn't matter. Astralis, they come away with such a good passage of play. And Damps and Ethan trying to salvage this one for NRG, but it is just not going to happen. It's a great crossfire setup on that A bomb side. Again, Astralis, they look dominant right now on the CT side. Showing no fear, and that's really what they needed to get us into this now. 18-17. One more round here, either going to get us to a second overtime if NRG can pull it back, or potentially we're done. This could be it finally, but it's so close. And it's these individual plays. The team kill is unfortunate, but even if that team kill didn't happen, Device had the second kill, so it doesn't really matter. And 3 orbs from Astralis now, determined to shut this down. The early pick machines coming out for Glaive, Device, and Dupree. Well, let's see how this one works out. Glaive going to play a little bit aggressively, but decides better of it. Falls back towards the side. Dupree takes a big chunk of damage, I think, out of the Molotov there from NRG. But the triple AWP setup, NRG surely aren't going to be ready for this, or not necessarily ready, but more so not expect it. There's no way you expect this sort of play, but Dupree gets caught out on short. The Spram comes in from the boost. The grenade might just close it. Not quite. Yes, it will, actually. Zipex does get the job done there. That could have been seconds. If it was another second for NRG, they might have survived with 5 players alive here. Back to a 4 versus 4. Device, though, he answers on to Breezy. Was the bomb spotted there by Device, perhaps? Regardless, 3 players for NRG. They need to hit some great entries in onto this B bomb site. Cirque opens up there onto Device, but the trades are back here again for Astralis. 2 versus 3 now. Cirque, he spotted out a couple of players, but he can't quite land the shot, and this looks like it's going to be Astralis. Ethan on his own, on 17 HP. The bomb not anywhere nearby him. And all he has to work with is a Molotov, slowing the play down. But Astralis, they're not keen to take the peak. Not at all. The smoke fading might just give Ethan the entry he needs, but this is so hard. Certainly, and it is going to be, in the end, Astralis 19-17. A very hard-fought victory over NRG. A little disappointing there for NRG as well, but in the end, they do not quite manage to get the job done. That's it, though, from us. We'll hand it back over to our analysts.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. Good God, was that a close one. And NRG really have thrown down the gauntlet. They've made it absolutely clear to everyone else in their group, the likes of MVP, Boot, I'm going to get it all right, let me see who else, G2, Chiefs, Fnatic, all of these teams that are going to be thrown now into the lower bracket are going to have to deal with a team that just took Astralis to overtime on Overpass. That's the statement in itself. To shed some light on exactly what went right and wrong, I do have 2 analysts joining me. We have Sniper, the resident Aussie, and we have Yenko joining us as well.
The resident sleeper.
Oh, that would have been so good.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah, I just put so much fear into you, Alex. You can't even try that
I didn't even think about that. I called him Yankee once, Sniper. He wouldn't believe what he did to me. It was terrifying. Actually. Yeah, a couple of times. The law has been laid down now. He's not a Yankee. Anyway, moving into the breakdown of this one, I think it's interesting to see just how close that one got. I don't think anyone necessarily anticipated. You expected some resistance.
I expected, some resistance, right, like you said, but I didn't expect an absolute slog that would go into overtime. I think NRG really got into their element there. Yeah. I think Astralis really just let it slip just a little bit too much, and then towards the end you saw the real Astralis. So it was like, okay, boys, we're here to play now. You know, they busted out all their old executes, the Astralis execute. You know, it's like, okay. Yeah. I think they're really into this now because they know what's on the line and what's at stake.
But I mean, just from an individual standpoint, not only do NRG win both pistols, but they win some important individual plays as well, Yenko. They put up a fight.
Yeah, both pistols, early gun rounds. It was the ideal underdog scenario, right? Everything that we say for win conditions for underdogs, they basically ticked all the boxes. And what was the most surprising thing is that Daps was the best player, even individually on NRG, right? He's the in-game leader. He's the guy you would expect and even tolerate that he's at the bottom of the scoreboard, lacking in the fragging department. But, you know, he was doing extremely well for himself, and Cirque had great moments. You know, it took him a while to get online, really. In the second half, towards the end of the game, is when he really stepped up in those retakes in some of the rounds. And if it weren't for him, Astralis would have probably mounted the full comeback in regulation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, when we do take a look at some of the highlights, it was just a real slog for both sides. I think the main kind of complaint people would have had about Astralis was that they took their foot off the gas a little bit, Sniper.
I mean,
is that fair?
Look, I think it is fair. I mean, you're the #1 team in the world. You're coming up against an unknown element, which is NRG, and you just see the difference in their playstyle. Astralis, they have the two different gears. You know, you see their online style that they have, and then you see the one that rocked up and wins Marseille.
Sure.
It was just an absolute wrecking ball. You know, taking out the likes of Fnatic and whatnot with absolute ease on this map. And then they come up against NRG. They're not sure maybe what to expect. I'm sure they would have done a little bit of homework, but this was just a very comfortable NRG. I thought Fugly really underperformed for them, and I think he'll be kicking himself because they'd be looking at this as a really good upset opportunity.
And when you say he underperformed, that's not just you looking at the scoreboard. There were many opportunities for him to do more damage.
Yeah, I mean, he saved an AK. There was that round where he had the AK. He could have done a fair bit with that. There was the 1v2 clutch where he didn't have a defuse kit, but he still, you know, he mucked around with Glaive just a little bit too long. So, you know, there were opportunities for like the standard Fugly. I just feel like this wasn't the usual Fugly we see online.
And if anything, NRG was a bit disappointing, you know, on their T side, because they got off to such a good start, 5-0 up, winning that first gun run. You know, Cirque just, and then even after that, Cirque just gets an early entry yet again in a 5v4, and they just take too long. And I think that was the story of that first half for NRG in the rounds that were losing. They were wasting too much time, right? Yes, they wanted to be safe to avoid the early aggression from Astralis, but, you know, it was just they were taking too much time.
This round in particular was one that had a whole green room on their feet.
The Cirque round.
Yeah, look at this quick response from Cirque.
He's so fast.
He is quick. High sensitivity or something. I don't know what it is. This is the round you're talking about, Sniper.
Yeah.
We later started shouting, he did have a CZ this whole time.
Why would you use an AK?
He's got 3 bullets.
You've got a CZ? Yeah.
Oh, it's just that little bit of indecision that I guess comes with time and comes with practice.
Yeah, and a lot of composure from Glaive in that situation, not to just run out, right? Knowing that it's a low buy, they most likely don't have a kit as well, so he played it perfectly.
He certainly did. And I mean, what was interesting as well, when we went into overtime, it caught the casters out. Astralis were pulling out every page of their strat book. That nade stack from those sandbags, we saw it over in Marseille. They brought it out again, and we are seeing more and more Astralis with their little kind of deviations from the norm still being pulled out. It shows that they were giving the respect. You know, you talked about it, Yenka, this no respect style of Counter-Strike. It's safe to say Astralis gave NRG the due respect.
Yeah, I mean, that's in general how they play, really. They just play their own game. They don't think too much about it. NRG is definitely a respectable opponent. If they were maybe playing a different underdog, you know, some of the Aussie teams, maybe they would be a bit more loose in their style. But yeah, in the end, I think NRG is going to regret, I mean, obviously not closing this game out, but I think they're going to regret that first half and their T side, you know, especially Daps, despite having a great game individually as an in-game leader. 5-0 is the dream scenario, right? Because you set everything up. Now you can go for your set pieces, executes, bait them into some of the rotations, movements, and their T side was just poor. And that in the end cost them the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And with that said, the more games are coming up. We have G2 versus MVP. And if you're interested as well, there is a secondary stream running simultaneously to this one. It is Chiefs versus Fnatic that's going to be coming up after Mouse versus Boot, which has, I believe, already concluded. We have Mousesports taking that one. So lots of fun stuff going down on either side of the streams. But now we are going to be taking a quick break. When we come back, we get to see how the French fare versus a rather hot MVP. See you after the break.